Happy New Year, folks! Take a guess, what's the first thing I did this year? That's right, I created a cooking disaster. And let me tell you, it was a spectacle to behold. Picture this, a sparkling New Year's Eve, a cozy kitchen, and a determined cook, yours truly, armed with a recipe for the most scrumptious New Year's cake. The scent of vanilla and cinnamon wafting through the air, a soft hum of the mixer. It was just like a scene out of a gourmet cooking show. Except for the teeny tiny fact that my cake had other plans. Instead of rising to the occasion, my cake decided to lay low. I mean, really low. I opened the oven door, ready to behold a masterpiece, but what greeted me was less New Year's cake and more, well, New Year's pancake. Yes, you heard it right. My cake had transformed into a pancake. The suspense was palpable, the disappointment real. But hey, I did say I was a determined cook, didn't I? So, I dusted off the flour from my apron, fixed my chef's hat, and served the pancake cake with a side of whipped cream and a sprinkle of humor. I mean, who doesn't love a good pancake on New Year's Eve, right? Especially when it comes with a topping of laughter and a side of resilience. At least that's what I told my guests as they valiantly dug into the pancake cake, trying to stifle their giggles. In hindsight, it was the perfect way to kick off the new year. A reminder that it's not about the perfect cake or the perfect anything, really. It's about the journey, the experience, the stories we create and share. And it's about learning from our mistakes, embracing our cooking disasters, and turning them into unforgettable memories. So who's ready to avoid my mistakes and learn some vital do's and don'ts in the kitchen? So, what could have saved my New Year's cake from becoming a pancake? The first DO, always read the recipe. Now I know what you're thinking. But I've cooked before, I know what I'm doing. Sure you do, but hear me out. Reading the recipe is not just about knowing what ingredients you'll need. It's about understanding the process, the timing, the sequence. Here's a funny story. Once I decided to wing it and make a soufflé without reading the full recipe. I mixed all the ingredients, popped it in the oven and sat back, waiting for that perfect rise. But what I didn't know was that I was supposed to gradually add the sugar while beating the eggs. The result? A flat, dense sugar bomb instead of a light, fluffy soufflé. So rule number 1, always, and I mean always, read the recipe. Can you guess the first don't in our list? It's related to the first DO. If you guessed don't eyeball measurements, give yourself a pat on the back. We're now diving into the treacherous waters of cooking's first major don't, the infamous eyeballing of measurements. Now, we all have that one friend who says, I just add a pinch of this and a dash of that and voila. But let's be real, we're not all culinary wizards. The majority of us, mere mortals, need precision and guidance. Eyeballing measurements can lead to some, shall we say, interesting results. Too much salt, you've got yourself an ocean in a pot. A bit too much baking soda. Brace yourself for a volcanic eruption in your oven. Cooking is an art, but it's also a science. It's all about balance. So unless you're a seasoned chef with years of experience under your belt, do us all a favor and stick to your measuring spoons and cups. Now what could be the second do? It's all about timing. Yes, folks, the second DO, use a timer, because I'll just check it in a bit, never works. Let's face it, we've all been there. You pop something in the oven, get distracted by a call or a TV show, and the next thing you know, your kitchen is filled with smoke, and your dinner resembles a charcoal briquette. Using a timer, whether it's on your phone, your oven, or a good old-fashioned egg timer, can save your food from a fiery fate. Just imagine, you're whipping up your grandmother's famous lasagna. You're sure you'll remember to check it in half an hour, but your favorite show comes on, and before you know it, you're scraping burnt cheese off the oven floor. So do yourself a favor, set a timer. It's a simple step that makes a world of difference. It keeps your food tasting as it should and saves you from potential cooking catastrophes. Our second don't is something we all are guilty of. Can you guess what it is? Confession time. How many of you use dull knives? Well, the second don't use dull knives. Now I know what you're thinking, but it's just cutting, right? Wrong. Cutting with a dull knife is like running in high heels. It's dangerous, inefficient, and a disaster waiting to happen. Picture this. You're prepping dinner, slicing through a juicy tomato, and your knife slips off the tomato and onto your finger. Ouch. And let's not forget the time when trying to dice an onion turned into a wrestling match. The onion won, by the way. The dull blade just wouldn't cut through, and before you know it, you're crying over more than just the onion fumes. Trust me, a sharp knife is a cook's best friend. It's safer, more efficient, and it'll make your cooking experience a whole lot smoother. We'll save the next set of DOs and don'ts for another day, but guess what's coming next? Did you enjoy today's cooking tips? Well, you're in for a treat. Our next video is all about the do's and don'ts of baking. We'll be diving deep into the sweet world of cakes, cookies, and pastries, demystifying the science behind the perfect bake. We'll show you why measuring your ingredients accurately is even more crucial in baking than in cooking. You'll learn why substituting ingredients on the fly could lead to a baking disaster, and why the temperature of your oven is not something you want to guess. We'll also give you tips on how to get that golden brown crust and the soft, moist interior that we all crave in our baked goods. It's going to be a roller coaster ride through the land of flour, sugar, and butter. So stay tuned and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Keep cooking, keep experimenting, but remember, no more cooking disasters in 2024.